Sawadee Krap. I'm Stuart J. Raj, and this is Thai Bites for Cracking Thai Fundamentals at Jcademy. Today we have a special little project, and it's going to be a very extended Thai Bites, and this will be going public. Last week, I read an article written by this gentleman here, Mr. Paul Garrigan. And I'd never met Paul before, but when I read the article posted on a Thai learning group on Facebook, it's the Phalang Can Learn Thai group, fantastic group, over 10,000 members. The article really resonated with me. And so Paul has been here for a while. He's been about 13 years. It says, my quest to speak fluent Thai in 6 months. And some people think, oh, what are you talking about? But as you go through, it's actually quite an attainable goal for Paul. Paul's been here for a while, and at one stage he probably thought he was fluent or at a high level, and then he comes and he breaks down these levels of learning Thai and levels that you're going to attain, and then very humbly puts himself in what he believes is his. But have a look here, like you've got a beginner, the Put Thai Keng Mak stage. So when everybody's complimenting on your Thai and you maybe have a handful of words and you think it's good, but people are probably saying Put Thai Keng Mak to more encourage you. And then you get the lower intermediate stage, and he says, aka speaking enough Thai just to get into trouble, and you know enough Thai just to understand a simple conversation. But then you start, when you start to try and say something, you see this face of panic on Thai's faces when you realize that they can't really understand what you're trying to say. And then you get it to a higher intermediate stage, and that's when he says, aka understanding enough Thai to realize that you suck stage. Now it's a bit harsh, but as you get there, you probably, he says that Thais start to not compliment you anymore, and they're probably feeling more able to correct you rather than compliment you. And then you get the this advanced stage, and where you still might get some confused looks, but you can carry on any conversation in Thai. And then his definition of fluent, you speak Thai like a native. Now these are Paul's levels that he's set, and to sort of gauge where he is. Now when I read this, I got in contact with Paul and asked whether I'd be able to help, because I saw them, and if he's been here for that long, he can read Thai already. I thought it's an attainable goal and perhaps would be able to help. So what I did, I spoke with Paul, and we caught up over Skype, and I've recorded a sample of his initial to get a benchmark of his Thai, and then we'd build up from there. So what I'm going to show you today, we've been doing it for about a week now. Now, one of the things that I mentioned to Paul was that after hearing him, I see that there are some fundamentals that we needed to attack. So I asked him to go through the Cracking Thai Fundamentals program, and especially in this first module, and I've got this module up here. If you go in as a free member, you can see this Cracking Thai Fundamentals Module 1, Preparing to Crack the Fundamentals. There are some very crucial fundamentals that were missing there. I'll show you what it is before I show you Paul's example. So just have a look at this first. I'm just going to play some little excerpts from the CTF Preparing to Crack the Fundamentals module. So this is in a section where I've got Train Your Throat to be Thai, and I have an English sample and a Tinglish sample of the same section, of the same phrase, and then we go in to see how we can make our Thai more Thais, but we brace it on English first. But have a quick listen to what this is all about. Now let's compare some of your notes with mine. Click on each of the numbered icons. It's important that you go through all of them. Each of them holds a lesson that can be applied to your Thai speaking as you learn, or for those who already speak Thai to some extent as you change the way you speak Thai. By applying the principles of Tinglish from these explanations back into your Thai, I can almost guarantee that you will develop a more natural sounding Thai. You'll find that there will be a lot less confusion and blank looks on Thais' faces when you are speaking with them. Okay, so that was the introduction, and then what I've done, I've broken this down into 8 things. So you've got, we talk about air pressure, diminishing words in English, over pronunciation that happens in Thai, Sandhi, that's when two words run together and the sounds change. The tones, what happens with the tones? Word distinction, same but different. So this is what you might think is the same, but it's actually different. And then trying to sound more Thai, and we go into areas on that, all just based on these two clips. But this one in particular was relevant to Paul, and I'm going to play a little bit of it and then show you how that's applied to his Thai. In my opinion, this picture alone holds all the secrets that you'll need to be able to speak Thai fluently and in a much more native-like manner. These are tone pitch contours of each of the native speaker English and Tinglish samples. The first thing that is highlighted through comparing these two tone contour images is that the Thai throat not only closes or has a glottal stop before and after each syllable, but you can also see that Thai tones are superimposed over English words, just like in the example that I used in number 3, where the native English speakers superimpose English sound contours over Thai. That example was hi becomes sawadee krap instead of sawadee krap. There is an instinctive rule. Okay, so I think that I'll just stop the clip there. If you want to go in and see, and you can actually do this whole module, it's huge. It could take you a week or even weeks to really get through this first module, and it's for free up there on Jcademy. If you subscribe as a free member. But now see this, so the contours from English superimposed over the Thai rather than hearing the proper Thai rhythms. So what we're going to do is come back here, and I'm going to give you a listen to some samples of Paul, and then I'll show you what we did with him. So have a look here at this first sample I have. This is the before sample, okay?
ก่อนผมทำงานพยาบาลแต่ตอนนี้ทำงานนักเขียนครับนักเขียนซอยแห่งครับ
So there's a lot of things there. You can see when he speaks, because he's been there, there's all these words and they're coming out with fluency, but it doesn't mean that it's coming out sounding Thai. And there are a few things. The word selection, for example, we've been looking at. So have a look at this.
ก่อนผมทำงาน
So Paul says ก่อนผมทำงาน so there's a thing on the tones there, and ก่อน the selection. So we look at เมื่อก่อน before, and we're coaching that in. But then have a look at this, the way that งาน was said.
ทำงาน
See that งาน so there's an issue with the งองู there also we've been working on.
พยาบาล
Okay, พยาบาล there was okay.
พยาบาล
พยาบาล meaning a nurse. So before I used to be a nurse.
แต่ตอนนี้
Now look at that. แต่ตอนนี้, now what's happened, if you listen, there's aspiration over the T's, over the T sound, rather than แต่ it's pronounced แท in Paul's sample here.
แต่ตอนนี้ทำงานนักเขียนครับ
Okay, so แต่ตอนนี้ทำงานเป็นนักเขียน. So you can see that the แต่ตอนนี้ Paul was coming out as aspirated แต่ตอนนี้, and then นักเขียน, the tones were coming out differently. นักเขียน, and you can see down here actually นักเขียน, นักเขียน, it's a falling that Paul said, but actually it should be นักเขียน as a นัก high tone, then เขียน rising tone.
นักเขียนซอยแห่งครับ
So นักเขียนไส้แห้ง. So what we've done is, I'll show you, this is in Paul's chart here. We went through and broke down the tones, and we did some coaching on this to เมื่อก่อนผมเคย, and then we did these blocks and looked at actually the tone contours, because if you said in English, and I'll just scroll this up here, I used to work as a nurse. I used to work as a nurse. Can you see that tone contour there? Let me get the pen on a color that we okay, so I used to, that goes up high there, work as a nurse. And you can see, if I used to work as a nurse, when we go back to that English one, that is the subconscious tone contour given to the Thai sentence.
ตอนผมทำงานพยาบาล
So I used to be a nurse, พยาบาล, and then the same thing, I am a writer, and now I'm a writer. That English tone contour comes over the Thai.
ทำงานนักเขียนครับ
I am a writer. ทำงานเป็นนักเขียนครับ. Can you see that? That's that same thing where we say hi, sawadee instead of sawadee krap. These contours from English are superimposed and distorting the Thai. So what we did was come in here and we did a lot of exercises and also looking at the vowels. So khơi versus koi versus kui versus I won't say, and then ทำงาน เป็นพยาบาล. It's great that Paul can read these, and we looked at, they're all common tones. ทำงาน เป็นพยาบาล. And Paul really worked hard at drilling those sounds. And so have a listen to this now. This is example number 2 after that. Now you'll notice that it's going to be a bit slower, but the tones and the selection of words are much more Thai. And then over the next weeks, we're going to be looking at bringing those up to normal speed.
เมื่อก่อนผมทำงานเป็นพยาบาลแต่ตอนนี้ผมเป็นนักเขียนสายแห้ง
So เมื่อก่อนผมทำงานเป็นพยาบาล. You can see the tones here. เมื่อก่อน these tones are coming much more into the correct place now. ผมทำงานเป็นพยาบาล. Now in the word พยาบาล there's still a bit of a it's come out as a bit of a popa rather than a popan. The aspirated. We'll be working on that.
ทำงานเป็นพยาบาล
So we need to turn that into a พยาบาล. And then
แต่ตอนนี้
แต่ตอนนี้. Now listen to the difference. แต่ตอนนี้
แต่ตอนนี้
แต่ตอนนี้ as opposed to this.
ทำงาน
Sorry, let me get that.
แต่ตอนนี้
Listen to the difference.
แต่ตอนนี้
That's after. This is before.
แต่ตอนนี้
After.
แต่ตอนนี้
It's much more Thai. The aspiration has been lost out. Has been lost there, and it's sounding more correct.
ผมเป็นนักเขียนสายแห้ง
นักเขียนไส้แห้ง. You can see he's got the tones down there rather than
นักเขียนสายแห้งครับ
นักเขียน, and then instead of, he was saying ซอยแห้ง, but it's ไส้แห้ง. ไส้แห้ง means like a struggling writer. So นักเขียนไส้แห้ง, the original was pronounced like this.
สายแห้งครับนักเขียนสายแห้งครับ
And this is the new revised version.
ผมเป็นนักเขียนสายแห้ง
So that's just I'm really happy with Paul's progress. He's done a lot, and he's working out his muscles in his throat by going through those exercises from the CTF program. The other one that we looked at, and I'll just bring that into screen here, is this next sentence.
ผมมาจากที่ประเทศไอร์แลนด์
So it's ผมมาจากประเทศไอร์แลนด์ but have a listen to how it's said.
ผมมาจากที่ประเทศไอร์แลนด์
So that's said fluently, but it's said again. I come from Ireland. I come from Ireland. This is this English contour.
ผมมาจากที่ประเทศไอร์แลนด์
Can you see that? Now listen to the new version of it once Paul has been able to do some coaching. Now the coaching that we did, we'll have a look here. ผมมาจากประเทศไอร์แลนด์, and we actually got him until he could stop his throat off. ผมมาจาก, you can see the tones there. We drilled those until it wasn't ผมมาจาก, but ผมมาจาก, starting to get those tones down. And then we broke it down. I typed it out here in Thai, and we broke the tones down. So have a listen to the results. I'll just bring this into frame so you can see it. Let me bring this over. Okay.
ผมมาจากประเทศไอร์แลนด์
Let's hear it again.
ผมมาจากประเทศไอร์แลนด์
ผมมาจากประเทศไอร์แลนด์. Now again, the speed in the fluency is lost just for a day or so. Now that the muscles in Paul's throat are coming into place now, they're going to sound much more natural to Thai ears when he's speaking in the future. So this is the first week of his 6-month journey. I really want to encourage Paul that you're doing brilliantly, and there's a lot of change in 1 week. Let's keep drilling in on that, and I hope that this has been help to a lot of other people out there who are really making efforts to learn Thai, and you might have felt you've hit a brick wall or something. listen to what Paul's done there. Apply it to yourself. Go in. You can access that course for free, and hopefully you'll see the kind of changes that Paul's seen. This has been an extended Thai Bites clip, a special episode for cracking Thai fundamentals and at Jcademy. I'm Stuart J. Raj. Sawadee krap.